Hey everybody, welcome back out to the National Players Club Garage Pod. We're jumping into week two. We're jumping into this week's matchups. Gotcha. This week's matchups brought to you by our special new sponsor.
No, she gets a special clone. It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep. It's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good. It's quite pungent. Oh, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into it. We've got
And that was real panther. Real panther.
I
got a little
fuzz in the teeth.
There you go. So we hacking up the fur balls.
I know her. All right, moving on clean and smooth. Just like Sex Panther.
Just like that.
We're going to do a bunch of matchups. And we've got
Matchups?
See, I thought I was going to roll past. I was really like that.
It's
Just
just
humble enough to where I don't have to, anyway. In any event, we got matchups for next week. We're going to critique your potential starting sit-ems. I've got one, you've got the other, and you've got some injury reports to back up the matchup.
Absolutely.
And then after that, we're going to go into fantasy fluff. The fluff.
The fluffer.
But before we get to that, let's get to this. What's week one?
Week one. We've got...
sorry, what's matchup one?
Wow,
we're regurgitating. You were on week two. I'm back on week one. He's going to start on preseason.
Last year.
Anyway.
Preseason.
Anyway, we haven't had that much to drink, which is sad.
That's the problem.
It's a Sex Panther.
It's the
Sex
Sex
Panther.
Panther.
We get ECL, East Coast, Emerald City. Against
I'm
United.
contagious this week.
God,
So we got the Emerald City Lanterns taking on the Annihilators. I've got the Lanterns right here. So
the 2-1.
the 2-in-1. So right now, the only thing I'm seeing on your lineup, Kev, is you got Macklin sitting on your bench. He's actually points higher than LaFell. You got 14 points on your bench that can take the place of 10 points.
I know, but
depending on the matchup and the injury.
Philadelphia's offense right now is terrible. Michael Vick is just horrible. I mean, he got sacked how many times the other day? I mean,
enough to count.
Exactly. I mean,
He's thrown 9 interceptions in the first 3 weeks.
exactly. I mean, this is a guy that's supposed to be a stud in the football. So
Yeah, when you turn the ball over 3-4 times a game, you're not giving your offense a chance to score points. So it is what it is. I understand why you'd move them. Annihilators, after putting up 135 points last week, they're sitting in 5th place at only 1-2. But I mean, like I said, it's still early enough, and with that amount of points, and you're scoring that amount of points on a weekly basis. If again, like I said last week, if her players can show up, then she can put a dominating team on the field with McFadden and Fitzgerald both at 18. Manny's sitting at 19. Obviously, not with no Castle. She's good with all of her starting lineup. The only thing she might be looking at is Ryan Matthews this week for Dwayne Bowe. Now, Dwayne Bowe, it's Castle's on a bench. Dwayne Bowe's in the starting lineup. That's his wide receiver. He's sitting at 16. Matthews is sitting at 20, but he hasn't been productive up to this point, with injuries and everything else is going on with it. So it's almost kind of a bit of a coin toss. She doesn't really have any questions on defense. Looks like she's got a tentative starting lineup in there. And I think it's going to come down to just a gut call on Dwayne Bowe over Ryan Matthews.
Yeah. And the injury report on that, Darren McFadden still nursing his shoulder, but they're playing Denver. Denver's, their defense is terrible. LaRon Robinson held out of practice this week due to concussion. Don't even think about starting him. Cook, shoulder injury, but he's a low-end starter. And my end, Andre Johnson didn't practice because of shoulder. Not going to worry about it. Titus Young sitting on my bench, not going to start this week. And Macklin, we've already talked about that.
One side note on that last matchup, Locker did put you up 39 points last week, where your starting quarterback only put you up 5 or 15. I'm not sure what it was. 15? Was it 15? There we go. We got 15 from the actual head coach yourself. But here's the thing: you got Manning in there. You almost have to keep him in there. I want to say, even though Locker put up those 39 points, he didn't do it the first 2 weeks. I don't see him putting up those kind of numbers again for the rest of the season. I think he's safer with Eli Manning. All right, what do we get next?
Gordomania versus
First, the meat. I got Gordomania. You got the meat. No,
I got me.
Oh, me. Oh, I was like, what? What is
You
got
don't
the meat?
Take
I
that
want
down.
the meat.
He does not have the meat.
Anyway, Gordomania is sitting at 127 from last week's in the second spot. Big win off of 2 pump jumps.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon. Just curious. Did you even try last week?
I think he's in Arkansas now. There might be cousins out there he's having relations with. I mean, maybe he was busy.
Wow. Jumped right across that line.
Never mind.
Toothbrush.
He's making his own sex panther out there.
Exactly. Ding, 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 ding.
You got Chargers defense scheduled at 7. He's got Jets scheduled at 4. Jets were a dominating team for you going in via the draft, but obviously Reeves Island is floated away, doesn't exist anymore. I see making that switch out there. Also looking at Philip Rivers is scheduled at 17 points. Flacco is scheduled at 18 points. It's really a coin flip. Like you said, you're Flacco this week. You're probably going to get him in there. Rivers got you 2 last week. 30 for Flacco. See him to ride that wave and continue to do what he's been doing. I hope so, because I got his tight end. Here's a big question for you. You got Jonathan Stewart, and you got Brown that you picked up, made mad points for you, but now he's going to be sharing time with Ahmad Bradshaw. Depending on how much he comes back, whether it's a split, whether they give Ahmad Bradshaw 60-40, that's what you need to figure out, because I really don't like anyone from Carolina's backfield going in there, whether it be Jonathan Stewart or...
I mean, it's like I said last week, I mean, basically, you have a 3 running back set with Cam Newton back there. So, I mean, he's proved, I mean, those goal line stances, 9 times out of 10, he's the guy running the ball on.
But they like Stewart getting the ball, more carries as the primary back. Maybe it's even 15-10 or 20-15, however the split's going to go, if it comes down to the game time in Brown. But he put up a great game. I don't see them just taking all those carries away from him, even with Bradshaw coming back. And if they like Bradshaw, then they're going to want to keep him healthy and put those carries out.
I think Bradshaw's going to be limited.
It's going to be a great. That's going to be the deciding factor in this game.
Exactly.
All right, and sitting with me, Romo versus Alex Smith. With the way they've been playing, I almost want to take Romo off at the start. But,
And Alex Smith is playing a banged up Jets.
yeah,
So,
so I got a lot of
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Just say it.
It's also Romo. Just saying.
Okay. And your
Yes,
2 wide
fair.
receivers are, I don't know. I just
I
don't
got Victor Cruz, who's definitely staying in. About the only difference I see, I got Mark Ingram. They're showing him for 17 points. New Orleans,
running backs aren't that bad.
yeah. I mean,
Just like their wide receivers are. Right now, they're not scoring points. They're losing games.
the
And if they
defense
get
is
behind,
the worst in the league.
if they get behind, they're going to have to score points. I don't see them doing it off of a
Running back.
largely running back by community backfield.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a dangerous call.
But Breeze likes to spread that ball around. So, and Sproles gets more catches than he does carries. Mark Ingram gets more of the carries whenever they get close to the goal line. So it's kind of a toss-up on what I do
Keep in
because,
mind, though, you have the number 1 tight end in the league, the number 1 red zone target from him when they get down in the
yeah.
inside the 20.
So, but about the only thing I'm looking at, I think I'm going to go ahead and start Ravens going up against Cleveland this week. Texans are playing Tennessee, and if it starts getting points up there, then Texans are going to start losing points. And with the show they put on last week against
Texans have the running backs to keep the offense off the field and grind the clock out if need be. Now, they've kind of flip-flopped in the last couple of weeks, whether it's been a passing game via Kev's wide receiver over there or a running game via my running back. But if they need to control that clock, they will. They've got 2 running backs to do that. Moving on.
Injuries.
Oh, yeah, injury.
Gordo, Matt Forte is possibly coming back this week. You really need to keep an eye on him. I think by Saturday you'll be able to figure out whether or not he's going to be in that game or not. And so just keep an eye on that. Everybody else, Jonathan Stewart, don't really. He should be good to go. Clinton, you really don't have anything to worry about.
No. Next up, we got Two Pump versus Show Me.
Show me.
Show
Show
me.
Show me.
Show
He's
me
got to
the
show
We're
up.
not even in the Show Me state.
she's got a good team.
Maybe
You know,
not.
and she's putting up points. It's just she needs to get the right matchups, like Gordo had last week, and
Yeah.
as people had before. She put up 116 points, respectable, last week. She's sitting in 6th spot, though. She's 0-3. She's in a must-win situation. I won't say must-win, but I mean,
No,
it's
it's a must-win.
It's definitely you need to get one under your belt.
She wins, I win. I'm happy.
Stafford's projected at 23. Obviously, she's leaving in there. Jamal Charles, you know, you can't not get him back in your lineup, especially when you're looking at players like Pierre Thomas, who we just talked about.
Yeah.
Get him out of there. Jamal Charles, obviously, is your every down back. Peyton Hillis being injured. Is that, yes, correct?
Peyton Hillis is, he's unable to practice, ankle injury. B, why are you holding on to him? Really?
That's not me.
No,
no, it is. Yeah.
I
But
mean,
the point being is that she needs to get Jamal Charles in her starting lineup, especially with his injury. He's going to get every one of
I
those.
know he's in. We were going over her lineup today, so I know he's in. I think she's having conflicts with pulling Cedric Benson in because the worst defense. Pulling in. Just saying.
Yeah, but who are you going to take him over? I mean, she's looking at D-Jack, Danny Amendola, was at 14, 16 points. It's like a coin for that. That's great. He's going to get those goal line carries if they get in the goal line. But, yeah,
I would say this, though.
Green
I mean,
Bay, I mean,
you look at the matchup. I mean, Green Bay is playing New Orleans, and New Orleans' defense is just terrible right now. I mean, it's a testament to what Sean Payton brought to that team with him not being there to control the defense. Trudy, I would almost put Cedric Benson in. I mean, he's going to blow up.
this is what I see. Aaron Rodgers is going to get a couple of passes downfield. They're going to get up, and then they're going to start controlling the clock. They're going to start running that ball all over the place. Cedric Benson's going to get the carries. He's going to get the yardage.
Here's my question. I'm looking at her lineup for this week. She's basically got Johnson, obviously, they're starting wide receiver. She can go a 3 running back set.
Yeah.
But she's got D-Jack and Amendola at 14 and 16 projected points. She's got Jamal Charles, obviously, need to get in there. She's got Benson at 15. He's right between D-Jack and Amendola. Which one of those wide receivers do you take out in lieu of
I would take Amendola out because Seattle's defense has been taking it up a notch.
I'm gonna take the flip side of that. I'd leave Amendola in and I'd take D-Jack out.
You're right. That is a point.
Yeah.
With that
Well,
really
and here's
is.
the thing, though. We just talked about the fact that Michael Vick
Interception after interception.
doesn't hold on to the ball in the offense long enough to let him make those plays. All right, what do we got next?
We got our injuries there. Trudy, keep an eye on Matt Stafford. They're going to wait till Friday to make a decision for him.
They'll probably even wait later than that. It's probably going to be game day time to throw people
But
off.
according to CBS, they're going to make their decision by Friday.
Yeah.
But you're in good shape. Calvin Johnson was held out of practice. You know, a little injury. Nothing to worry about. He'll be in there to start. B, you got Kenny Britt on your bench with a little injury. Peyton Hillis out there, too, with a little injury. Honestly, Jamal Charles, I think, has proved himself. You know, he's going to take all the carries away from Hillis.
Rock on. Well, hey, we're going to pour ourselves another
Sexy Panther.
Sexy Panther with chunks of Panther.
With
And we're going to come back with the other last 3 matchups for this coming weekend. And shortly after that, we will do Fantasy Fluff. So I got something for you to look for on Sunday. So
stick around.
Right back.
Well, after that short commercial break, we come back and we had, who was it?
Oh, our good friend Rob Burgundy is actually hopefully going to meet with us in the upcoming weeks and do some special commentary. But
Producers got to get together. You know how we got.
Rob's a tough guy. Yeah.
We were running a little short on some Sex Panthers. So he actually brought us a little Sex Panther.
Little Sex Panther.
Drink it in.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Rob.
So, back to this week's matchups.
All right, so what do we got? We got Barflies versus
The Gnomies.
Got Gnomes.
So we got Gnomes looking at 122. It looks like she's got her lineup pretty much set up. I mean,
she's sitting in first place at 2-1.
400
with a
points.
crushing win last week.
Yeah.
John is sitting at 1-2 in 6th place, the only person that's smaller than that one. So we got a nice little 1 and 2 run all the way down the board, 3 and 3.
Is that a little foreshadowing?
At least he's always older than I am, and I'm ahead of you are. I'm ahead of you are.
Ahead of you are.
Ahead of you are.
Wow.
I learned me well. All right, well,
This is not podcast.
this is not the grammar you're looking for.
So, what are we looking at on John Boy's?
John Boy is looking at, it depends on how Homerville he wants to get. Last week he started Peyton Manning. He put him up 21 points while Dalton put up 35 on his bench. But, very true, but Peyton is actually projected for slightly more again this week, so I can understand why he's actually going to hold on to his
Well, it's Peyton Manning. I mean,
but they got a tough matchup against Oakland. Oakland's playing really good.
I still see Dalton put up 35 points again. And right now, I mean, he's got
Jacksonville.
he could potentially switch out Seahawks defense for the Raiders are projected at 7. Seahawks are projected at 13. His question mark is going to be whether he's doing Dalton off of last week's performance or Manning off of kind of holding on to what he's doing and getting him his standard, double digits, 20, 19, 22, so on and so forth. He's got a bunch of people on the buy-in on his bench, so he's kind of forced into a lot of his starting matchups.
No, he's got some injury, or at least one good injury.
He's got
Lou out for the season.
Out, he's toast. Johnny needs to get back in the player pool. He's got 2 guys on his bench that are on a bye already, and he's got his starting kicker on bye. And to be honest with you, I don't know that he has a backup kicker.
No, he does not. I'm looking at it. He does not.
He does not. So,
He's an anti-kicker.
yeah, you want me to jump in there?
See if you can beat Erica without a kicker.
That would be funny. The one-legged win.
Yeah.
We got the Gnomes. Looks like the lineup's pretty much set. Pierre Gasson's out. She's got Choice and Hawkins she picked up. I don't know why Stephen Hawkins is even playing, but it's not Stephen Hawkins. My bad. There's
No, I read Stephen Hawkins on him earlier.
Yeah,
Stephen Hawkins.
Stephen Hawkins is in a wheelchair.
yeah.
I'm going to go put up touchdowns.
I'm predicting a win.
No, it's not that.
No, Stephen Hawkins is. We're so eating up time here, but
Yeah, I know. I was running off of something he did earlier. She's got Hawkins, who evidently is starting to come up in the wheelchair business, but he's also putting up touchdowns. Lineup looks pretty stout. She's got the Bears up by 1.
the Bears.
The Bears. And then she picked up the Falcons and kept them on the bench.
Yeah, I had them. They were kind of like that middle range.
Yeah.
Dropped them. I'm not criticizing. I was in there. Backup defense. They're worth keeping on your bench for the points they keep.
Yeah. So I mean, really, other than if she's on injury prone,
No, but actually,
it's mostly buys.
you got
What player
LaShore.
shows up this weekend?
Yeah.
Doesn't Brady play? Not playing the 49ers this week?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all
You
get
got
the
LaShore has a groin injury, but he's still viable starter. Garcon going to be a game time decision. Hakeem Nicks expected to practice tomorrow, so keep an eye on him. Aaron Hernandez still out, and like we said, we just touched on John Whitehill is out for the season. Hey, yo, money.
More importantly, you need a kicker.
More importantly,
So on to the Burn versus DK. Oh, I can't wait for this. Go ahead.
this is going to be a
DK Comics. Here we go. 137 last week, sitting in second place behind Ronnie Gnomes. Stellar performance, knocked out both Erica and I. He started off well. His bench is doing well. His starter is doing well. Luck is on a bye, but he's also one of those teams that has 3 quarterbacks. So you can very easily slide in Matt Schaub, who's rated at 16. Where he grabbed his quarterbacks at, you're not expecting much out of him, but you're expecting more out of the other players, and they've been producing for him. So you can still get, Ray Rice gets his 22, and Steve Johnson gets his 20, and
surprise.
Martellus Bennett.
I think, that's a big surprise. I mean, you get him out of the Cowboys scheme where they're actually utilizing him in New York, and they're tailoring that offense to fit his talents, which they didn't do in Dallas.
Reggie Bush needs to get out of his lineup.
It's on his bench, so
And
We'll be there.
so he's basically looking at Crabtree or Wallace. And Wallace, I believe, is on a bye this week.
Yep.
So he's basically looking at possibly putting Crabtree in there and switching out one of his quarterbacks short of that. And, I mean, his defense is like, what, getting 5 from the Bills and 7 from the Vikings, a coin flip. Someone might get.
You know what?
3,
With the way his points have been going, defense is the least of his concern
Yeah.
if these guys keep showing up.
And to be
I
honest
mean,
with you,
defense is a bonus.
and quarterback, he's making his points between here and here. It's not the quarterback. It's not the defense. He's making his points
in between them.
although both of his defenses do have very tough matchups. The Vikings are playing Detroit. They're playing at Detroit, and Detroit at home is phenomenal. And the Bills, they're hosting your team.
New England, which you
Pats.
never know what to expect. They're angry. They've lost 2 games, so they're gonna show up.
Exactly. I mean,
Tom Brady's not going to cry.
And
So, I mean,
and Buffalo, New York. Mark my words, Buffalo, New York is where running backs go to die. What is it? 3 running backs have been taken out so far.
but
Now they're on what? Tashard Choice?
no, Fred Jackson's coming back. So
Whatever.
We'll see what
yeah,
happens.
he's
So the burn, and now her lineup looks pretty solid except for 2 things. The running back boneyard. CJ Spiller, who is, I guess he's out.
out. Yeah. Did not practice. He's going to be a game time decision.
So you got a couple of viable options. You got VJack sitting down in your flex position. He can take the place of Spiller. Bradshaw's still down there. So is Bradshaw out?
Sports come back this week.
Yeah, that's what I
But
thought.
that's the thing. They're just sharing time. They don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't know which running back's going to show. So, you throw him in a flex position. So you can tell you got what you need now. You got Terrell Owens.
Start Terrell Owens. T.O. baby.
T.O. baby.
Yo.
T.O.
We're bringing the popcorn.
Yeah. I got a Sharpie.
We can make that happen.
He's got popcorn. I got a Sharpie. He's got $1.
Exactly.
Party's in the making.
And well,
Now, my big question. This is the giant question mark on Bernie's setup. You got the Steelers on one hand who are on a bye, projected at 0 points. Now, the bad part is they're projected at more points than your Saints on the bench at -1. Who do you start? It is. Who do you start? Do you start the Steelers and hope it stays at 0, or do you start the Saints and watch it drop?
Watch it go down.
It's one of those.
Well, there's the board bet for the week. Which one of Bernie's defenses scores more points? The one that's not playing or the one that's on the field?
And I've already proved that there is a defense thing that can go lower than -1.
Yes.
Because I did have my
Oh,
Chiefs.
mine did last week.
My
He did -1. Chiefs did -3.
-2.
Was it 2?
-2.
Okay. So
You know what? When we get to fantasy fluff, we're gonna have to revisit that
We're
one because
so-
that's
yeah.
so gonna be a board bet.
I'm gonna
Real quick, I'm gonna recap your injuries. Debo, keep an eye on Matt Schaub. He had all kinds of injuries this week, but they're expecting him to
Hope he
play.
runs.
Haywood Bay, don't expect him to come back till week 6. Reggie Bush didn't practice, but keep an eye on this situation.
Yeah.
Bernie, CJ Spiller did not practice. He could be a game time decision. Ahmad Bradshaw, good to go for week 4. Steven Jackson, again, missed practice this week due to groin. It hasn't been held
Saints
back
defense got a broken leg. The entire defense.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
Who needs a head coach?
yeah, right.
Owens. All right. Blow it up. Our last matchup this week is
You versus the Rash.
Yeah, the Rash.
The Rash.
The
Not
Rash.
the
Well, yeah,
Rash.
Mike, we
The
haven't
Rash.
heard much from this.
I know, and he's actually in a
doing
good
well.
position. He's in
Well.
3rd in y'all's division.
Yeah.
I know, he was undefeated up until last week.
Yeah.
So
Until
Where's all the trash talking? I guess you're waiting for it on the poker table.
we're gonna have to get a call in on him too.
we need a poker night so you can come up here and talk shit.
We've got my meat puppets put up 106 points last week. I'm sitting in 6th spot at 1 and 2. Like I said, there's 3 1 and 2s out there. I need a win. I'm desperate for a win, and not only do I need a win because you are in the top 3. So if I can beat out you, there's some other shifting that will go on. If
Shifty.
shifty. There's some shifting that might go on, some ties and points will come into play. Matt Ryan, obviously he's not going anywhere. Brandon Lloyd, I might have to get him into my lineup this week. my biggest question is I'm currently starting Pitta from Baltimore and Antonio Gates. And I'm starting a double tight end set this week, and possibly putting Brandon Lloyd in there. Really, I'm not feeling it. I picked up Tucker, switched up my kicker. They liked him in his matchup this week. You know, Nate Keating was great, but I mean, it's literally a coin flip. Either one of them could do, put up 21. Really, I could put up 6. No big deal. But I did pick Arizona's Cardinals defense, and I'm putting the Pats on the bench this week and putting the Cardinals in. They're hot. I'm riding the hot hand.
I would almost, in your case,
It's on the Arizona
just
team.
because of how Houston runs their offense, I would Arian Foster and Tate.
Ben Tate isn't. They like him as a good flex spot this week.
Yes. And that's a good matchup against Tennessee.
Yeah, until they throw the ball, and all of a sudden both my running backs go up.
And you get that 16-point touchdown on one play, which was
So what do we got on the other side?
Judging that up.
What's the Rash
So,
taking off?
Rash has got the old scratch pad out, and he scratched Jermaine Gresham and Willis McGahee, I do believe.
He's making moves, but we're just not hearing about it.
And he either dropped him to the bench or, they're on, both of them on the bench, aren't they? Yeah. He got rid of Colley and D'Angelo Williams. They're no longer with the Rash.
I like the Darius Moore pickup. I drafted him, dropped him because he got hurt. Now he's back. On top of the fact that you've got Darius Hayward-Bay injured. It all depends. It comes down to whether you get a special double team on Darius Moore and completely takes out the passing game for Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
so. I mean, you do have to worry about Darren McFadden. So
The lineup set, you got the Cowboys defense who actually been turning it on. I think that's been the only thing saving the Cowboys on these 1 and 3 point Passover wins for Jason Garrett. A win's a win. Doesn't matter how ugly. Well, quit being ugly. Start learning to play the game.
Talking about how deep wide
went to
receivers are
Stanford, for
this year.
God's sakes.
Talking about how deep wide receivers are this year. Tight ends are, I don't even want to say way crazy deep because there's some friends of ours that use way crazy, but they are way crazy deep. And the tight ends, I mean, there's literally like 8 starters that you could plug in right now. I mean, because you're looking at, other than Graham, you're looking at your tight end, who's not exactly blown it up just yet. You got Hernandez out. You get Gates, iffy on, any given day. On
Kyle Rudolph up in Minnesota is taking over.
You've got Michael Finley that was dropped by Devin, that was picked up by Eric, and then you've got Kyle Rudolph, who's basically back-to-back touchdowns, who he just picked up and is starting against me. You've got
Marty B.
Yeah, you got Pittman, you've got, there's a slew of tight ends, which is why I might potentially start 2 tight ends, try and pull a win out this week.
Oh, wait.
I do not.
Oh, well, I wanted you to come over here and say it. It'd be awesome.
Injuries this week, we're looking at Aaron. You got Trent Richardson. Probable he's got a knee, but he's got a big test against Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's very tough. You got Kyle Rudolph. Thigh injury in practice. Watch his status this week. Fred Jackson. No, I'm on Mike.
Kyle Rudolph's Mike.
Yes. So I said, Mike, you got Fred Jackson coming back. He's questionable for week 4, but he could be a big factor. I mean, CJ Spiller.
Another injury is Greg Jennings, who was my number 1 wide receiver pick that has been out of my lineup since week 1. I tried to put him back in because I needed a wide receiver, and now again he has a groin.
And Willis McGahee, who's probably going to be out this week. Keep him on the bench.
We'll be back with some fluff.
There's your lineup for the week. And the drum roll, please.
Production value.